If you've stepped into a Ross Dress for Less this year and walked out feeling like you won, this video is about to ruin that memory, not because Ross sells bad stuff, but because Ross has turned shopping into a psychological experiment, and you're the test subject. You're not finding bargains. You're being guided toward purchases by a system designed long before you pulled into the parking lot. Every rack placement, every price tag, every intentionally messy aisle exists to override your logic and activate the part of your brain that screams grab it before someone else does. Most people leave Ross believing they outsmarted retail. The truth is, the system outsmarted them before they touched a hanger. This video shows you the mechanics behind the curtain, so you stop making purchases you regret by Wednesday. By the end, you'll understand exactly how Ross pulls this off. And more importantly, you'll learn how to actually beat them at their own strategy. Let's get into it. Number 10. That brand name on the tag is lying to you. You're shuffling through a packed rack, barely paying attention, and boom, Nike, Calvin Klein, Michael Kors, Adidas, dopamine hits. This would cost triple at the mall, except it wouldn't. A massive portion of brand name merchandise at Ross was never on a shelf at Nordstrom or Macy's. It was produced in separate factories with different material specs, specifically to land in off-price stores. Same logo, but the construction, fabric weight, hardware, and durability are a completely different tier. Think of it like a fast food chain putting its name on a frozen grocery store meal. Same brand on the box, totally different product inside. I bought branded running shoes from Ross last year, look perfect under those fluorescent lights. 2 weeks later, the sole separated from the upper. My $34 deal became a $34 lesson. Whenever you see the word irregular on a tag, that's not decoration, that's a confession. The product failed someone else's quality check before it reached your hands. Number 9. The price comparison game is rigged. Every Ross tag shows two numbers, a higher one labeled compare at and a lower actual price. That gap is where Ross manufactures the feeling of victory, but the top number isn't what the item sold for somewhere else. Ross's own disclosures say it represents what a comparable product might retail for. Might comparable. Those are deliberately vague words, giving Ross complete legal cover. They're not saying this jacket cost $120 at Macy's. They're saying something sort of like it could theoretically have been priced around that, maybe somewhere. I started testing this. Every time something seemed like a steal, I'd search it on my phone in the aisle. More often than not, the identical product was online for the same price or less. That $45 jacket with a compare it of $120 was on Amazon for $42. That's not a discount, that's marketing architecture. Next time that price gap makes your chest tighten, pause, search it, let the internet tell you whether you're winning or just reacting to a number engineered to trigger that exact feeling. Number 8. The organized chaos is doing exactly what it's supposed to. Nobody walks into Ross and thinks what a beautifully organized store. Racks overflow. Home goods spill into apparel. A blender sits next to sandals next to a decorative pillow. Most people assume poor management. It's not. It's behavioral engineering called the treasure hunt model. When a store is messy, your brain shifts into scavenging mode. You start digging through things you'd never normally consider. You came for one item, 20 minutes later, you're holding a candle, measuring cups, 2 questionable t-shirts, and you still haven't found what you walked in for. That's not shopping, that's a dopamine-driven scavenger hunt. Ross doesn't want clean aisles. Clean aisles mean focused shoppers who leave fast. Chaos means wandering. Wandering means buying. Number 7. Most clearance tags aren't clearance, they're costume changes. Red stickers carry enormous psychological weight. Your brain sees red tag and translates it to rare opportunity. But most markdowns are laughably small. Something drops from $27.99 to $24.99, and suddenly it's wearing a clearance badge. That's a $3 reduction on an item whose value was already questionable. Real clearance exists, sure, but those deep discounts are needles in a haystack, surrounded by $2 markdowns designed to make the whole section feel like buried gold. A subscriber spent 45 minutes combing through clearance and left with 4 items, total savings versus the original Ross price, not the compare at price, came to $11. She spent an hour to save the cost of a fast food combo. That's not bargain hunting, that's unpaid labor. Number 6. The fitting rooms are working against you. The Ross fitting room experience is engineered friction, limited items allowed, long lines in many locations, no mirrors inside the rooms. You try something on, then walk into a shared hallway under harsh lighting to see yourself. So unpleasant that many shoppers skip it entirely. Hold it up, eyeball the size, toss it in the cart. That's exactly what Ross benefits from. Once it's bagged in your car, the chance of returning it drops hard. One viewer tried on 5 items, hated 3, but bought everything because the fitting room line was 20 minutes deep. Ross didn't convince her those clothes were worth buying, they just made the alternative worse. Number 5. The return policy has teeth. You won't see until it bites. 30 days, receipt required. Sounds simple. In practice, it favors the store. 30 days is tight for items you never tried on, and if you don't guard paper receipts, that window shrinks fast. But here's what catches people off guard. Ross tracks return frequency. Return too often, even with receipts, even within the window, and you get flagged. Managers can decline your return based on history alone. A subscriber bought a coffee maker that died after 4 days. So he went back on day 6 with the receipt. The manager processed it, but warned her she was approaching the return limit. She'd returned 3 items that entire year. That policy isn't a safety net. It's a countdown. And this is where Ross shifts from feeling like a bargain store to feeling like a trap. Number 4, there's a weekly discount Ross barely whispers about. Every Tuesday, customers 55 and older get 10% off their total purchase. No coupon, no app, no loyalty card, just age verification at the register. Most stores have a small sign near the entrance that blends into background noise. If you're 55 or older shopping on random days, you've been leaving money behind every visit. Younger than 55, shop with an eligible family member. Let them check out. Reimburse them after. A viewer's family does a monthly Ross run on the first Tuesday. Mother-in-law handles the register. Over a year, she estimated they'd kept over $200. That would have gone to Ross. Real strategy, zero cost. Number 3. Gift card stacking turns Ross's system against itself. Sites like Raise and Gift Card Granny sell Ross gift cards 5 to 15% below face value. A $100 card for $85 to $95 before you walk in. Combine that with the Tuesday senior discount and you're paying 70 to 80 cents on the dollar. A longtime follower buys discounted gift cards quarterly, shops Tuesdays with her mother, and stacks the senior discount. Last pair of running shoes had a $45 sticker. After stacking, she paid under $35. That's not a Ross deal. That's a system built on top of Ross. Number 2. The electronics section is where money disappears. Speakers, headphones, phone accessories, small appliances, all priced too good to question. So most people don't question them. They should. Ross electronics come from 3 pipelines. Unbranded imports with 0 warranty, previous generation models already replaced, and returned units recirculating through the supply chain. Packaging looks new. Inside is a coin flip. A viewer bought a portable speaker for $22. Worked 9 days, then started crackling. No receipt, no return. It's a $22 paperweight now. Clothes, fair game. Home goods, sometimes. Anything with a circuit board, that's where your money vanishes. Number 1, when you walk in, matters more than what you walk in for. This is the one factor that silently determines whether your trip feels like a win or a disaster. Ross and hours vary wildly. Some close at 9:30 p.m., others push past midnight. This happens because Ross run rolling restocks with no set schedule. Early morning means clean aisles, fresh stock, short lines. Late night means catching employees actively stocking, giving you first access. Saturday or Sunday afternoon is the worst version of Ross. Aisles ransacked, lines backed into shoes. A viewer described a Sunday trip as walking into a store that looked looted and restocked simultaneously. Early weekday mornings and late weeknight evenings are your windows. Everything else is a gamble. Now to the bonus round. 5 things Ross counts on you never noticing. First, identical products at different prices. Ross sources the same item from multiple vendors at different costs. Same hoodie, same color, same size, different price, 2 racks apart. A subscriber found a Nike pullover for $28 and the same one for $21 nearby. Brought both to checkout, got the lower price without argument. Always compare. Second, digging isn't optional. Nothing at Ross lives where it should. Sneakers in housewares, jackets under throw pillows, employees can't reshelve continuously, and customers hide items to grab later. If you won't dig, you're seeing a fraction of what's available. Third, luxury items aren't what they seem. A high-end name on a Ross tag doesn't guarantee a high-end product. Many are end-of-line clearances or diffusion lines intended for discount channels. The hanger feels premium. The product tells a different story once you examine stitching and hardware. Fourth, irregular tags are everywhere. Products stamped irregular failed quality checks upstream, sometimes invisible, sometimes structural. Ross sells these alongside regular stock with minimal distinction. Check every item before it hits your cart. Fifth, the feeling of saving is the actual product. Ross doesn't primarily sell clothing. Ross sells the emotional experience of getting a deal. The comparer pricing, the messy aisles, the red stickers, all designed to keep that feeling alive. Once you recognize the feeling as the product, you take back your wallet. Ross can be worth your time, but only if you understand what the store is doing. Flip every tag, search every price, stack every legitimate discount, and know when to put something back. The smartest move at Ross isn't finding the best deal, it's recognizing when there's no deal at all and walking out with your money intact. Hit that like button, subscribe to Economical Case Files so you never miss a breakdown like this. Drop a comment. What's your craziest Ross experience, best find, or biggest regret? At Economical Case Files, we don't just chase deals, we decode them.